Good morning all of you. So today I am back again with the next video, that is we will be discussing about our constitution, that is Indian constitution. Okay children, so before coming to the concept of the Indian constitution, let's discuss about that what basically a constitution is. A constitution is a set of rules that basically provide the framework and the basis for the functioning of a society or a country. As you know, that in order to make the society or make the country function, we just require some set of rules. Okay, we require a framework on the basis of which the country can be governed. That only basic set of rules and that only framework that is very much helpful in basically governing the country. Okay, that is very much helpful in proper functioning of the society or the country, that is given the name constitution. Now let's discuss about some of the important features of our constitution, that is Indian constitution. Point number 1, you people know that the longest written constitution is our own constitution, that is Indian constitution only. Next point, our Indian constitution is having 395 articles and it also has 12 schedules. Next one, actually our constitution was framed by the Constituent Assembly, and this Constituent Assembly was set up in the year 1946. You people must be knowing that the father of the Indian constitution, can anybody tell me who is the father of the Indian constitution? Right, he is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is basically called the father of the Indian constitution. He was also the head of the drafting committee that drafted the constitution. Okay, now let's come that what are the basic objectives which our Indian constitution is serving. Just think of the concept. If constitution would not be there, then what will happen? As I said, what is constitution? It is basically the set of rules that is helpful in the proper functioning of the country or in the proper functioning of the society. See, if there would be no constitution, then there would be total chaos in the country. Everybody would be seen fighting with each other. There would be chaos. There would be lack of law and order. So to maintain the proper law and order, in order to maintain the proper smooth functioning in the country, the constitution is very much needed. Now we'll discuss about what are the objectives of the Indian constitution. What are the basic points which Indian constitution is offering us? The first point is that it basically defines the nature of the Indian society. We all know that India is a democratic country, right? And by the democracy we mean a government of the people, by the people and for the people. A democracy simply means that we are actually choosing our representatives through the means of voting. You know, the people, those who are 18 years or above, they are having the proper right to vote. They can cast their vote, and this concept is given the name universal adult suffrage. Okay, so under this concept the people can vote, they can choose their representatives, and this way they are an equal participant in the governance also. That is, they are effectively working, they are effectively participating rather in the country's government. Okay, so point number 1 is to basically tell us that India is a democratic country and we are the followers of democracy. Next point of the Indian constitution, the main objective is that it is basically protecting the minority people from the domination of the majority ones. Now think about that. Like in our country, you see that so many religions are living. We are having Hinduism, Muslim, Sikhism, Christianity, so many different religions are there. But there is not a dominance of a particular religion. We believe in secularism. What does the word secularism means? That each and every religion is equal from the point of law. Every person is having the free will to worship his or her own religion. Okay, so our constitution basically work on that no majority group should be able to dominate the minority one. The minority ones are also having the proper say in the government. Okay, so there is no domination of the majority group over the minority group. So this is the basic objective of the Indian Constitution. Next, it is also helpful in preventing the people who are in the authority from misusing the power. Right, misusing means simply that no power which is in majority, it cannot misuse, it cannot just dominate itself, and it cannot just impose its rules and regulations over the minority ones. So each and everyone is equal before the law. Last and very very important, it also makes sure that the common interest, that is the interest of each and every common man, is protected. We are working as a whole. For whom? We are working for the nation. Okay, so we are just working, we are believing in unity in diversity. Though there are so many religions, okay, though there are so many groups, like we are believing in so many different religions, even then apart from this diversity, we are together, we are united. So this is the concept of the Indian Constitution. Now, very important concept, that is, we all know that each and every Indian citizen has been given some of the very important fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are those rights which are given to each and every Indian citizen, okay, and each and every Indian citizen can follow these fundamental rights. You must be knowing that in all there are 6 fundamental rights, and the 6 fundamental rights are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Let's discuss all these rights one by one. Number 1, if we talk about right to equality, right to equality simply means that each and everyone, we all are equal before the law. Okay, so there is no disunity, that is, each and everyone is equal. That is what is stated by the right to equality. Next, right to freedom. Right to freedom means according to our will, we can move in different parts of the country, we can reside anywhere, we are having the freedom of speech. Okay, so there is no foundation, we are not the workers under anybody, that we are not having any freedom also. We all are having the proper freedom, equal freedom, and we can reside in anywhere, we can follow our own customs or traditions. So total freedom is there, which is assigned to each and every citizen. Next, right against exploitation. Very very important, that if any person is exploited, you know that the children under 14 years of age, they deserve the right of proper free and compulsory education. Nobody can impose them, nobody can force them to do the job of the bonded labor also. Okay, so free and compulsory education is provided to the children under 14 years of age. And if anybody is exploiting you, if anybody is taking advantage of you, then you people can move to the court. This is the meaning of right against exploitation. Next fundamental right, very important one, right to freedom of religion. As I said, India is a secular country. We believe in secularism. So each and every Indian citizen is totally free to worship his or her own religion according to his or her wish. Like Hindus, they can move to the temples, they can do the worship over there. Similarly, Muslims can move to the mosque and they can do their worship over there. Christians are totally free to move to their churches also. Fine. So there is no foundation that we are forcing the Hindu, okay, you move to the mosque or so, or we are forcing the Christians to move to the temple also. Even the Sikhs can move to their gurudwaras also, and they can just worship their own Lord according to their own wish. So everybody is having the right to freedom of religion. Next, cultural and educational rights. As I said, each and every Indian citizen is totally free basically to follow his or her culture, okay, and we are having the proper educational rights also, that is, children, all the Indians children, they are totally free, they can follow their own culture, Okay, each and every person can follow his or her own culture, and not only culture, everybody is given the equality that they can basically get proper education. Okay, nobody can snatch away the right of education from them. And last, very very important thing, right to constitutional remedies. It simply says that if any of the 6 rights are violated, yeah, if any of the 6 rights are being snatched away from any of the Indian citizens, then these citizens can move to their court. Okay, they can tell the problem to the court people that basically our rights are violated, and definitely the court is going to take some or the other remedial measures, and the court will be providing you your own rights. So these are the 6 fundamental rights. Now, as you know that rights and duties, they go together. If the country is giving us any right, then we also possess some duties towards the Indian country or the Indian government. So some of the common duties are, we should just respect the Indian constitution, which are discussed over here. Okay, we should not do anything against the Indian constitution. So proper the respect should be there. We should respect the national flag, national emblem. Okay, just pay proper homage to the Indian constitution. Stay united, though there is diversity, but you need to show unity in diversity. Fine. So please follow whatever the duties you are having, that whatever the we are having, the basically we can say the duties, we should try to follow those duties, and we should just make sure that the rights and duties, they go hand in hand. Okay, so let's quickly recapitulate. We discussed about the constitution, we discussed about basically the features of the Indian constitution, objectives of the Indian constitution, 6 fundamental rights, and some of the fundamental duties. I hope so that the topic of today must be clear to each and everyone. So please take care of yourselves and your family members also. Goodbye, stay safe and stay home all of you. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you each and everyone.